Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from our short break last week, so I could go on vacation before the season starts. And college football, Kieran, decided to completely implode upon itself all week. Kieran, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, but you are right. This was a chaotic week.
We miss 1 week, and just everything goes to hell.
Yeah.
It's insane. You have former NBA players coming back to college have been a problem. Alabama started with Charles Bediako, and everyone lost their minds. And then their teams did it, and they stopped losing their minds, and Alabama fans were like, what the hell? Will Wade's currently doing it at LSU. Then Lane Kiffin is negotiating with players who are getting cut by the NFL. The Big Ten passed a rule banning players from returning to college from the NFL. The SEC followed suit, saying that you cannot add an NFL, NBA, or WNBA player to your roster, whether they've entered the draft and failed to take themselves out of it or have signed a contract with a professional team. Kieran, what were your thoughts on this madness?
No duh. They shouldn't be doing it anyway. It's bonkers that we've come to this state of affairs where it's just, college athletes can just do whatever the hell they want. We said 2 years ago that this was a slippery slope, and we are hurtling down Mount Everest is what we're doing.
Yeah, and look, I, for years, have been banging the drum. The NCAA made up the term student athlete so they could avoid paying their players. It's ridiculous. They're just using it to take advantage. No, let's bring that back. Term student athlete. You cannot go the pro level in a pro league. Now, look, I understand if you go to the Olympics, that was an issue a couple of years ago with Katie Ledecky. If you go to the Olympics, that's one thing.
Yeah, that's totally different.
You're joining an NFL, an NBA, or a WNBA team. You should not be allowed back. And I love the Big Ten taking the first stand on it. And then, Kieran, the SEC really decided to bring the hammer down. The Big Ten banned it, saying it's not allowed. The SEC technically said you can do it, but they said they will suspend their coach for half a season. They will fine the school the equivalent of 50% of that sport's annual budget. They will revoke league voting rights and whatever the hell Greg Sankey wants to do. In addition to that, that passed 15 votes yay, 0 nay, with LSU abstaining because they are the problem child. They couldn't say no because it'd be a terrible look for them, but they really wanted to say yes because it's their team's doing.
Yeah. I love how this was a massive issue, or rather, there was a massive issue with Texas Tech, like literally a month and a half ago with Brendan Sorsby, and now somehow LSU has made them look like child's play. Like something that's so trivial and naive that a gambling addict, which is what he was, unfortunately, was allowed to play college, or was about to be allowed to play college sports. And instead, they're going to actual professional athletes who didn't get picked up or weren't on a team or whatever to play for them. You look at that and you go, I'd rather the gambling addict at that point.
Yeah, it really makes it hard to defend what Texas Tech did, but LSU said, hold my beer. We're good. And look, we knew something was going to happen early on with Lane and with Will Wade. I know we're a college football show, but Lane, he's always up to something. He's either at bars. You got Ellis or Ole Miss sweeping their facilities for bugs. We'll get into that in a minute. And then Will Wade, the basketball coach, who was previously investigated with an FBI wiretap to pay players. He was going to do something, his cheating ass. And then on top of that, if that's not crazy enough, you have Kim Mulkey, the LSU women's coach, getting involved in international politics by signing a Russian player, causing a Ukrainian player to transfer schools. What is going on in Baton Rouge?
Someone said the LSU axis of evil, and it's just those three.
I like, there's a tweet. It's a picture of Will Wade, Lane Kiffin, and Kim Mulkey. It's like someone needs a nickname for these three, and it's the Lion, Lyin, the bitch Lane Kiffin and the wardrobe Kim Mulkey, and it's perfect. It describes it great, but also I think this is what all this madness just makes sense coming out of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, you'd think they want to clean up their image after the Ed Orgeron thing, or literally any of their scandals.
Just pick a coach after
yeah,
Saban.
honestly. But like you guys have managed, the athletic director and the board have managed to pick worse and worse people each time. Brian Kelly looks like a godsend in comparison.
Brian Kelly literally killed a kid. And
Exactly.
LSU had fewer scandals under him than Lane Kiffin in 3 months, allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. Everything's allegedly.
It's insane. And
let's get into the whole Ole Miss thing because we're on the topic.
That's true. So for those who didn't see, Walker Jones, the lead executive director of the Grove Collective, Ole Miss's NIL directive said in an interview that they had the FBI come in and sweep their facility for bugs. And Pete Golding later clarified it was a player's father who happened to work for the FBI who helped them look. And Walker Jones also said, like, we know what they do over there in LSU or in Baton Rouge. We know what kind of people they employ. Well, their entire coaching staff from last year is the coaching staff at Baton Rouge. I made a video about this for Belly Up. I feel like that makes you complicit. We knew they were doing shady shit like this, so we knew to look for it because we allowed it. And we have a coach who is also part of that coaching staff doing the shady shit.
It just keeps getting worse. Like at some point you have to go, surely this has to be the bottom of this scandal. And then Lane Kiffin goes, watch this, gets an oil rig drill and goes 1,000 feet under that.
But also, if any other school did this shit, you'd be like, oh my God, that's the worst scandal they've had in years. And with LSU, it's like, oh, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Also, we do have this banner. I feel like we should just put this up whenever we're talking about Lane Kiffin and LSU.
Yes, very true.
Don't do any of the things they do. It's crazy. The SEC, Karen, it just means more.
It certainly does, Kev. It certainly does.
And while we're talking about the nonsense that is the SEC already planned to meet this week before they talked about the professional athletes coming back to college. Per Ross Downinger at Yahoo Sports, they were going to meet in Birmingham for a 2-day meeting scheduled weeks ago on an exploration into a conference-only governance model. The focus is on self-governance and not a competitive breakaway. But
sure.
The South should have learned how trying to self-govern goes generally and should not try it again.
I mean, yeah, we've talked about this before. It's one of these things where the idea sounds good on paper, but would be disastrous to implement. Because you lose all of the ability to compete against, you essentially lose all the ability to compete against every other conference, barring Notre Dame, because they can do whatever the hell they want. But it's not like Notre Dame is ever going to schedule you guys because they don't want to play competitive matches. So this is one of those things where they can do it, but it's only going to last a couple of years.
Yeah, and the thing is, they say it's only for governance and not a competitive breakaway. The NCAA could easily go, oh, they don't listen to our rules. You can't, these games aren't going to count.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be for your overall record, national championship, bowl games, things like that. These games don't count towards your record, basically, like it's an FCS school. And it's insane. Like, we've talked about this before. They need to bring friends. They need to bring the Big Ten. They need to bring some of the ACC. And the ACC is already in lockstep with the Big Ten and the SEC on this. They do want to join those two and banning professional players. And this is a big opportunity for the Pac-12 to reclaim some glory. Hey, failed NFL players, come back. But it's insane. I think we need to stop with there's enough going on right now. We need to stop with let's leave the NCAA. I understand the NCAA is effectively powerless, as has been shown by these constant injunctions and players doing whatever the hell they want. But there's enough to deal with currently. We don't need to add something else.
Yeah, and if anything, it makes more sense to take that whole self-governing approach that you're already doing, by the way, and just continuing on, because you have clearly seen, like you said, through all these injunctions that the NCAA has no teeth. You're essentially your own league. There's only the bare minimum of guidelines for you to compete against your conference and then get to schedule 2 out of conference FCS games or whatever you want to call them. That is your model. That's how it's been done for years now. You just have more power to determine, who is going to be essentially in that SEC championship than you did before, say, 2007, when the NCAA was arguably at its strongest.
Just find a judge in Birmingham to sign off on whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
We want to pay our players $5 million. NCAA, no, you can't do that. Judge, injunction, go ahead. Insane. But, Kieran, I think we should stop talking about the SEC for a while. We did talk about international politics, however.
Yes.
And TCU also dipping their toes in the water of international politics with a nice incendiary tweet this week asking their followers, where are they traveling from, with a picture of Ireland. For those who are not listening to the podcast, they did put a map of Ireland with their post, the whole island, not just Ireland, Northern Ireland. So they obviously do not recognize the 6 stolen counties to the north. Kieran, as the resident Irishman, what are your thoughts on TCU standing firmly with you and Jerry Adams, allegedly?
Yeah, please say allegedly there. No, I get what they were trying to do. It's just, there's essentially a soft border between Ireland and Northern Ireland, but I'm very glad to see that TCU stands with the proud and glorious unified Ireland.
It's the comments are also great. Some of them, Texas Catholic University.
Yep, that's a good
as
one.
God intended, based up the frog.
I guess.
It's
the other one I saw that was really funny was the that really famous photo of the guys in the balaclava reading out a manifesto with the tricolor in the back. I'm sure it's somewhere in those comments, but there was a post. There was a post about it as well.
Yeah, it's great. It's incredible, and I love it.
It's so easy to make fun of too. It's such an easy, soft thing that you can just lob jokes at, and no one can really get mad.
No,
except
not at all. Yeah, no, it's fine. This might tie my favorite incendiary post, not in the history of Ireland, with the Bear St. Patrick's Day post from a few years ago, where they showed the river in Chicago that they dyed green. They photoshopped it to be orange, not understanding.
Yes, I remember that.
Awful that is. So 10 out of 10, no notes.
This can only go well.
TCU's admin either has no idea what they're posting about.
Oh, yeah.
Or they entirely know too well what they're posting about.
Yeah. There's no in between with this. There's I think that's, it's an island. I can clearly see it on a map or Google Earth or something. Toss it on the graphic. Or it's, I'm doing this on purpose.
Or they made sure to type in the middle of the island up the raw in the same shade of green as the rest of the island, so nobody can tell, but they know it's there.
Oh, that's gold.
It's incredible. I love it. I love when schools and American teams in general just do this stupid stuff by not really understanding, or understanding too, on having a great sense of humor. But Kieran, speaking of things that make me laugh and things I love, Hater Watch 21. I just want to bring this to everyone's attention. tweeted August 17th, I'm from the future. Rice just beat Notre Dame 28-25 on September 12th. I pray to God that this man is from the future, because that would be the best birthday present I could ask for.
It really would be. It would be absolutely phenomenal. Actually, in fairness to that, those comments are also hilarious. The first one that I saw on that link was the JFK one. I choose to believe this shit, not because it's true, but because it's funny.
Pretty much. And some Notre Dame fans are now starting a beef with Rice, but it's Rice.
Rice is going to take all the publicity they can get.
That's fair. Look, but look, Rice, if you pull this off, I promise you, when we talk about you on this show going forward, I will stop bringing up the fact that JFK name dropped you in a speech about how much you suck. I will start talking about the time you beat Notre Dame.
Oh, 100%. You get all the kudos for the rest of this show's existence if you win this game.
Rice, if you beat Notre Dame, I will change my mid-team.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that.
I will cover you the rest of the season.
Yes, please do.
It's great. But, Kieran, we're just going to move on. I don't have a so here for this. Georgia is partnering with a new NIL sponsor. They're partnering with Progressive Insurance, while all of their players are not allowed to be covered by Progressive because they all were declined. Kieran, what were your thoughts seeing the funniest NIL deal?
That one really got to me, because they're, unlike the TCU post, there is no possible way that the execs who made this deal didn't know about all of the allegations. Actually, not even the allegations, the actual speeding problems that they've had in Georgia. There are so many things that you could easily kind of get away with and be oblivious to, but the constant reports coming out of Georgia, this person caught speeding, this person going 120, this person crashing. The list was almost unending during the offseason. And the only reason it stopped recently is because they're all back on campus.
That's true. They're all getting ready for the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Kirby took away their keys.
Seriously. Like at the start of a party.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. It's not, those last two things are not something we have a lot to talk about. I needed to.
Oh, it's just funny.
They're incredible. But speaking of incredible, Kieran, and I don't love Ohio State, but I love this move by Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're talking all offseason. Kyle Whittingham, you don't need to hate your rivals. Bryce Underwood, it's just a game. Ohio State said, no, F that. It's the most important game of our schedule. We're moving senior day from the last week to week 1 so we can focus all of our energy and effort on hating Michigan. And this is what college rivalries need, and it's going to be a bloodbath.
Well, a one-sided bloodbath.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I mean. It's going to be a slaughter, or Michigan's going to pull this off, and it's going to be hilarious.
That would be very funny.
Either way I win, it's either it proves you need the hatred in college football rivalries, or Ohio State lost the funniest way possible after moving senior day.
Yes. Yeah. There is actually only good outcomes for everybody except those two teams. I will say this for for Michigan, this move by Ohio State makes your school, Kyle Whittingham's comments, look ridiculous. They make you look so stupid, because they have said, instead of celebrating our seniors in the way that is traditional and the way that, it gives them that last sort of last hurrah before they leave, they have decided none of that matters. Your head on a plate is what matters to us, which is fire, frankly. And as much as I hate both the teams, given my allegiances, I actually hope Ohio State wins this game just to shut Kyle Whittingham up.
That's fair. That's very fair. I hate Ohio State more than Michigan as someone not involved in any rivalry in the Big Ten on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
But I do want Ohio State to win to shut up Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah. Or at least let him change his tune. Because
that's fair.
Yeah. It's
Like,
one of those two options.
Maybe not blow him out, but go out there, punch him in the mouth. Not literally, but
yeah.
All right, Kieran, it's time. College football packed a lot of last minute offseason craziness in, but it's week 0 this week. Actually, college football starts tomorrow.
Oh, that's true. I was going to say,
off tomorrow at 6.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yes, and actually, that's a great point for all this. We're all pumped. Kevin and I are pumped for the Aer Lingus Classic on Saturday. But we should recognize the FCS kicking off tomorrow because they also deserve as much media coverage as we can possibly give them this year. We said we're going to pick our mid teams later. We'll get into those in a bit. But college football does start tomorrow, at least for Division I sides of things. Now, am I still more excited for the Aer Lingus Classic? Of course I am, because I'm biased and it is the greatest kickoff to the FBS ever. But it does start tomorrow.
Yeah, it's great. But I mean, tomorrow at 6, you got Maine at Towson. You have Stony Brook at Delaware State. You have Mercyhurst at Youngstown State, the greatest school mascot I've ever seen as a Penguin. And Ohio Dominicans taking on Morehead State all at 6. It's going to be great. We talked about them a lot. Idaho kicks off on Friday at 10, by the way, Kieran. So
10 p.m.?
Yeah.
Oof, that's late.
It's Friday.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, no, that's true. But, Kieran, we're going to break down the AP poll real quick. The first AP poll of the season. And before we get into the actual poll, others receiving votes, Clemson with 112, Florida with 51, Boise State with 43, Arizona with 32, TCU with 11, Navy with 10, South Carolina also with 10, Illinois with 9, Oklahoma State and Vandy with 8, Pitt with 7, Virginia Tech with 6, Minnesota with 5, UNLV with 4, along with New Mexico, Georgia Tech, Louisiana, James Madison, Auburn with 3, Memphis, Cal, 2, Liberty, Western Michigan, Tulane, and Virginia with 1. Kieran, any shocks on the others receiving votes?
Not a huge amount. I think with TCU's win this Saturday, I think they're going to get up to 25. Call it.
I don't know if they will because they will then also have to play week 1 after, and UNC is terrible.
Yeah, I know. I'm only messing.
Shout out Clemson for not being ranked though.
Yeah,
I think that's hilarious.
Well, they were ranked in the preseason last year, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, but it was like 23. I think
it was low.
Yeah, something like that.
Let's see if we can pull it up quick. Yep, they were ranked. They might have been unranked. Oh, they were 4th
last year.
That's what I'm being told. Let's go to the NCAA's website and check. Yep, they were 4th last year with 4 first place folks.
Damn.
In the preseason poll. I'm glad we learned our lesson, guys.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to the actual poll. Mizzou at 25, Louisville at 24, Houston at 23, Iowa at 22, and Utah at 21. Iowa just starting out right where they belong. That's where they're going to end the season. That's where they're going to be. They'll move up 4, down 4, but they'll be around 22 all year.
Yeah, no issues there.
All right. Moving on, Tennessee at 20, SMU at 19, Penn State at 18, Washington at 17, and Michigan at 16. Kieran, take it away.
I mean, sweet spot for Penn State. Essentially a brand new team. Between 10 and 18 is their bread and butter. It's going to be fantastic. Tennessee, do not be surprised if Tennessee very quickly moves up the rankings. I know they've lost a couple of guys to the portal, a couple of guys to the draft, but I still think Tennessee can win plenty of well-fought games, and they will definitely rise in the ranking. SMU kind of on the reverse of that. I think that they're going to lose a lot more than we think. I'm surprised. I will say I am surprised Washington is 17th. I don't recall them making any massive moves. They did get a new head coach, if I'm not mistaken, but that might have been Washington State now that I think about it. But anyway, I'm surprised that they're that high. It's going to be interesting.
I feel like Washington's always around there lately. Not always, but like last couple of years. I feel like on your Tennessee point, they're going to move up, I think, pretty quickly. I do think they're going to beat Furman. Georgia Tech, I'm not sure. Georgia Tech did lose some key pieces, but they might give that a mulligan for Tennessee if it's a close game, but I do think they'll win. They'll beat Kennesaw State. They're going to get dog walked by Texas. Like, I don't care. They're going to play a tight game against Auburn. They're going to beat Arkansas. It's Arkansas. They're going to lose to Alabama. They're going to lose South Carolina. They're going to lose to Texas A&M. They're going to lose to LSU unless Lane's suspended half the year. So it's going to be a bad year for Tennessee, I think. Penn State at 18, I think it just kind of makes sense. I feel like if it was Iowa State and Matt Campbell didn't leave, I'd be like, yeah, 18 makes sense. So 18 makes sense for Penn State now that they are the Penn State Cyclones. I said my piece about Washington, Michigan. I feel like they're always going to start the season here. I think they're going to be fine. They'll probably compete for a playoff spot, but if they don't care about their rivalry games, it doesn't matter. Moving on to a tie. BYU and Southern Cal are both tied at 14th. I also don't like how it says Southern Cal and not USC because I just read. I don't think for this until I start talking about the actual rankings. 13, Alabama, Texas Tech at 12, and LSU at 11. This is the lowest Alabama's been in God knows how long, and they still might be too high. The last time we saw them on a football field, they were getting dog walked by Indiana en route to a national championship. I think they will be better this year. That secondary is going to be really good. Keelan Russell's named the start this week. I think he has a very high ceiling. Austin Mack had a higher floor probably, but Keelan Russell, much higher ceiling, can do a lot more. Sucks for Austin Mack. He followed his coach from Washington to Alabama and has been a backup the whole time. Texas Tech is still good. I don't know why they felt the need to get a gambling addict at quarterback. They were a good team regardless, especially not even a very good gambling addict. Like if they had the Pete Rose of college football, okay, I get it. I'd understand wanting that, but I don't even know what to compare Sorsby to.
That's a great point.
He's fine, but he's not great. BYU and USC, I think people might be overhyping USC a little bit. I don't know why. I just feel like the defense, I don't know if I trust it yet. Jade Mayav is a great quarterback. I think will have the skill position guys. Might be a little overranked, might be struggle a little bit, but I don't know their schedule too well right now. It's out west. I don't care. Kieran, thoughts on the rankings?
I don't really have an issue with any of these. I'm surprised Texas Tech is 12th. I feel like you could probably push them closer to 8th or 9th, right under Texas A&M because of their roster, minus Brendan Sorsby, obviously. They're going to be within the Big 12. They're going to be nigh on unstoppable up until they inevitably play somebody really, really close and their season completely capitulates after that.
That's fair. Also, I take back what I said about USC. I could see them easily being 6-1 ahead of the Ohio State game. Then their season might fall apart quickly though, because they have Ohio State and Indiana back-to-back weeks. But
speaking of that particular Big Ten schedule, Penn State has a woefully easy schedule this year. USC and Washington are probably the biggest games like that year, and USC's
Michigan.
Well, see, here's the thing about what I'm saying about Michigan. Like, yeah, it's a big game, but based on how we've reacted to Michigan so far, especially in the preseason, I don't think they're going to have that good of a year. They're going to win the first 6 games, but like after that,
it's at Michigan. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, but like a 25-24 loss is really not that big of a
Okay, deal. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. But I feel like I cut you off.
No, you're good.
Okay. All right. Moving on to also LSU. That first loss is going to hit like crack. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, we invite the NFL in and we still lose.
Yep, can't wait. All right, let's fly through the top 10, Kieran, because we're going to do top 12 in the season. But right now, Oklahoma at number 10, Ole Miss at number 9, A&M at number 8, The U at number 7 with 1 first place vote. Indiana at number 6 with 8 first place votes. Texas at number 5 with 0 first place votes. Notre Dame at number 4 with 6 first place votes. Georgia at number 3 with 0 first place votes. Oregon number 2 with 14 first place votes. And the Ohio State sitting at first place with 40 first place votes. Kieran, thoughts on the top 10?
They're all pretty much positioned exactly where they should be. We've discussed before that Notre Dame is always ranked way too high. I actually think we need to shift our perspective on that. I think we need to keep Notre Dame fans with the level of hope that they get when they see them within the top 5 or 6, and just let them go through the season and then be disappointed come the semifinals, because I think it's a lot funnier at this point. Whereas we can argue about whether they deserve it or this, that, and the other thing, but actually let's just keep them there and make them suffer. That's arguably way better.
That's fair. The only reason I disagree with you on that is with the 12-team playoffs, that will give them 2, potentially 3 mulligans, and then they might F around. People might get hurt, and then they might win a natty. They might fall and fumble their way into a natty, which no one needs or wants.
You raise a good point. But it is Notre Dame, so they tend to bottle it.
Unlikely. They truly are the Tottenham of college football.
They really are. I hate that was so quick off the dome. I want to swear. A lot.
For those who don't know, Kieran is a Tottenham fan.
Yes. And I will suffer through it.
See, I'm a Brentford fan. 0 expectations.
Yeah, they wiped the floor with Tottenham first week.
I know, but also I'm a passive Brentford fan in the sense cool, they won.
Yeah, for me, it's I ruin my entire Saturdays, not just the afternoon.
Well, Kieran, it's only going to get worse from here with Penn State. Sorry, back up.
It really is. Oh, God.
Also, the absolute disrespect to Indiana coming off of a national championship, being ranked 6th.
I think that'll motivate them, frankly.
Oh, yeah, no. I think it's going to end up biting everyone else. I don't really have thoughts on the top 10. I think it's weird. I think A&M's probably ranked too high at number 8. Mm-hmm. But I think it's weird to get that upset about the rankings week 0.
Yeah.
Right? Any thoughts on the poll as a whole?
No, I actually think that this is a fairly good preseason poll. There's nobody here that I'm like, oh, they don't deserve this spot, or, they're ranked way too high or they're ranked way too low. I actually think, you could argue a place up or a place down, but ultimately I actually think that this is a genuinely good preseason poll.
Yeah, that's fair. I think every year we do say that. We're like, oh, yeah, that's actually not a bad poll this time. And then they just kind of make it worse as the season goes on.
Yeah.
That's fair. But Kieran, now it's time for everyone's favorite segment. Kieran and Kev make terrible picks. This time we do have a sponsor. Better Vision is sponsoring our bets. You can get the best odds from across all the sports books you might use to find where you want to put your money to get the biggest bang for your buck on your bets. Kieran and I are terrible at betting. So this tool will be useful for people who are actually good at betting. Yes. So if you like betting, sign up, bettervision.us, get the app. It is incredible. If you or someone you know is struggling with gambling, help is available. Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER for confidential support. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Same thing as we did last year. Moneyline spread and a miscellaneous pick. Kieran, do you want to go first?
Yes, I'm going to start with the Aer Lingus Classic. I feel that's a little bit nostalgic, but sure, why not? My money line is going to be the TCU Horned Frogs minus 360.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean UNC was awful last year.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that one. Now I've said that a lot, but still.
That's fair. I mean, Bill's probably too busy popping Cialis, so his blood's not really going to his brain. That's why they're struggling so much. My money line, I got Hawaii. Rainbow Warriors against Stanford, open season 157. Micah Alejandro, I can't talk, was great last year, 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 9 picks. Stanford was 96th in points allowed last year. They were not good. I understand they got a new coach, Pritchard, I believe. I can't remember his name. Yeah, Tavita Pritchard. He's an offensive guy. You can't do much to help a team in a couple of months. So that's going to be brutal. And Hawaii opened the season last year with a 3-point upset in Hawaii. So they are going to Stanford this time. But who knows? Next up, spread. I have Memphis plus 4.5 at -110. This is two really good rushing offenses coming together. Memphis was 31st last year. UNLV was 23rd in rushing yards. Memphis was better on defense, 41st, than UNLV, 105th. But Memphis's new coach, Charles Huff, comes in to replace Ryan Silverfield. Not a great defensive coach. Southern Miss ranked 98th last year in rushing defense. However, he was there for 1 year. Can't do much, like I said. But Marshall the year before was 102nd when he was there for 4 years. Defense coordinator Lance Guidry, though, last time he was a defense coordinator in Miami, had them at 19th in 2024. Going back to that rushing offense, Charles Huff was the running backs coach, for Najee Harris when he won the Doak Walker Award and is credited with Saquon's development at Penn State. So I like Memphis plus 4.5 on the back of what is going to be a dangerous rushing game, both offensively and defensively. Kieran, what do you got for your spread?
I'm not doing all those details, but I'm going to have Virginia Cavaliers -4 against the NC State Wolfpack. That is a -112. They had 31.1 or 33.1 points for last year and only 19.6 points against. That was 28th and 22nd respectively. So I think they can keep a game fairly close. I don't see that being an issue.
That's fair. And your miscellaneous, Kieran?
My miscellaneous is we're going faux faux Pac-12. We're doing San Jose State versus the USC. Oh my God, I can't speak. The USC Trojans at over 60.5 points. Big score, week 1.
60.5, did you say?
60.5. That is the current line.
This is not for your bet, Kieran. I'm just curious. What do you think the score breakdown is going to be of that?
I think it's going to be like 48,
13.
No, it's not going to be that low. 48, 24 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
San Jose State putting up some points.
Yeah. Hey. They want the line there. I'm going over the line. That's
fair. No, I don't hate the pick. I like the pick. I'm also heading over to the Emerald Isle for my miscellaneous pick here. And I'm taking TCU over 27.5 at -117. TCU.
Yep. Is it raining?
Ooh.
Before that's a key factor.
That is a key factor. It is lightly raining, a light rain on Saturday.
The ball can get slippy.
That's true. But Kieran, kickoff is at noon, our time.
Mm-hmm.
Rain is supposed to be down to 6% by 5, 3% by 8.
All right. Fair enough.
So it might be dry. But on top of that, I didn't even think to look at the weather, Kieran. We forgot to do your weather report. I forgot to do your weather report. So that'll be back for week 1 to make sure I don't almost bottle it like Tottenham and like Penn State and like Notre Dame. But TCU put up 48 in Chapel Hill to start last season. They are getting the rematch in Ireland. They scored 35 in their first 3 games last year. They were over 27.5 in 6 of their first 7 before winning a tight one against West Virginia. And then the wheels really fell off against Iowa State, BYU. But to start the year, TCU scores points. So I'm going to go with TCU over 27.5 at -117. Reminder, Kieran picking TCU to beat UNC. He's got UVA -4 and San Jose State versus USC over 60.5. I have Hawaii beating Stanford to open the year. I got Memphis plus 4.5, and I have TCU over 27.5. Also, I was a real jerk this week before Kieran and I really did vibes-based picks, and I did a lot of research into my picks. And Kieran, for that, I apologize.
I either have to come back with the most detailed analysis of this or just continue going vibes.
I mean, if you continue going vibes, you still might beat me.
That is true.
But it's time now for our natty picks. Did we talk about their odds last year? I think we did, or last week. We did. Kieran, who do you have winning the national championship this year?
I have Ohio State winning the national championship. They have a far too consistent roster and somewhat coaching staff to doubt their ability to go undefeated this season, particularly with their schedule. There is the game against Oregon maybe might pose a challenge for them, but I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. And then their roster is just too packed with good players they have all the depth in the world as well. So I think they should be fine. So unfortunately, as it pains me to do it as a Penn Stater, it's most likely going to be Ohio State.
That's fair. My pick, in the words of Kevin from The Office, if someone gives you plus 10,000 odds, you take those. And I respond, what if someone gives you plus 1 million odds? You take those. I'm going with the UMass Minutemen, Kieran.
What is the point of me doing anything on this podcast? If you are going to just take a wild guess, then everything I do, we've just picked the best and worst teams of this and praying something happens.
Yes. No, look, it was either that or Alabama.
I would rather you pick them.
All right. Alabama then. It pains me to do this, Kieran. It pains me to actually, no. I was going to say Miami. Like Mario Cristobal is actually a good coach. They have a quarterback who doesn't just throw the ball away 5 times randomly in games. I actually do like Miami this year at plus 1,000. Ohio State's at plus 600, but give me Alabama plus 2,500. The defense is a lot better. The secondary is greatly improved. Keelan Russell, that ceiling is so high. And Alabama would have been a lot better last year if Ty Simpson stayed healthy. I am concerned about the offensive line. My heart is telling me Alabama. My brain is telling me Miami. And I don't know what's telling me UMass, but something in my body is screaming Minutemen here.
Like you can argue. You can absolutely make the argument for Miami. You can absolutely make the argument for anybody within the top 15, I would even say. But to go to the absolute bottom of this division and just say, yes, these are my boys that will get me over the line.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do it. I'm not actually going to pick UMass. Yeah, but I think if Miami can avoid we lost the natty hangover, they're going to be a dangerous team this year.
Yeah, certainly.
But Kieran, moving on to our last topic of the offseason, really, our mid teams for this year.
Yes.
We gave our teasers last week, Kieran. Who were your finalists last week?
Idaho Vandals, UC Davis Aggies, and the Kentucky Hilltoppers.
Kentucky
Hilltoppers, I should say.
All right. Mine were the UAB Blazers. Now that they got rid of that snake, Trent Dilfer. I also had the Idaho Vandals. Oregon State and Bowling Green were my top 4. Kieran, are you ready to announce who your teams are or who your team's going to be?
Yes. Do you want me to go first or?
You can go first.
All right. I love that logo. Give me UC Davis Aggies.
That's crazy. I didn't think you were going to do that.
What?
Not in a bad way. I didn't expect you to pick UC Davis.
No, hold on. Are you being serious at this point or no?
Yeah, I actually didn't expect you to.
All right. Well,
I don't know what I expected. I didn't expect UC Davis. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. That it's just pure, like we said, pure vibes.
That's fair. Kieran, I think for me, I'm wearing a shirt for the Kibbie Dome.
I was going to say.
I talk about Idaho all the time about buying a jersey. I'm going with the Idaho Vandals.
So I thought about that. I was like, I'm going to go with Idaho because Kev gave 3 other schools that he might go with. but he's been talking about them so much, and it would be really, really stupid if we were both doing the same school. So I was like, I have to go with the team whose logo I loved.
I did plan for that, by the way.
Yeah.
If you picked Idaho, I was going to go with Oregon State.
All right. Well, I'm glad I gave you your choice then.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show before we head into the season. And hopefully it's just as crazy, but actually on the field instead of off the field this time. I can't wait, Kieran. I'm not going to be able to sleep the rest of the week out of excitement. Everyone have a good, safe, fun rest of your week. Make good choices. And yeah.
See ya.
They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the dogs.
You know that?
They were
They're
eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God, that's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh,